All right. So having a positive culture, guys, it's a responsibility, okay, and students' responsibility as well. Now, most of the time, uh, we can change we can change the panorama. You know, we can change it, okay. Classroom culture has to do not just with your attitude, but it has to do with the classroom physically. I mean, I'm talking about the physical part, right? In the infrastructure, okay? If you are an English teacher, make sure you decorate your classroom, okay? Because that has to do with the learning atmosphere, okay? It's not the same to enter into a classroom with no posters that enter into a classroom with the alphabet, with greetings, right, on the door, with pictures of kids playing. I mean, according to the level you have, I mean, decorating your classroom, it's part of classroom culture. Since you're building a safe atmosphere for learning, then it's your duty to transform your space, okay, and adequate that space for your students. That change the perspective, okay? Remember that. Before the ending the call, I was mentioning three type of workers or teachers, right? The ones that love what they do, right? That you can see it because they always have time, they always answer your messages, they explain you one, two, three, as many times as necessary, right? There are other type of teachers that they don't love what they do, but they do the job. I mean, they teach you, they help you, but they don't enjoy it. And the third type of teachers that they hate what they do and they hate helping and teaching, you know, but they get paid. So I hope that all of the people in this video conference and in this subject are the ones that love what they do. Okay, learning and teaching, it's beautiful. Okay, helping is beautiful. I mean, everything you do with your heart is beautiful. So please keep it in mind. That's why Jeffrey and Osvaldo remember their favorite teacher, because those teachers, they leave, you know, they leave memories on you, and positive memories. You know, you never forget them. Okay, and I'm pretty sure that if you see them on the street, I'm pretty sure that you will greet them and you will be happy to see them. You know, because they were really good uh, people. You know, more than teachers, they were humans. You know, they treat you well and they teach you important things that you probably uh, won't forget. Now, here we have a concept, okay? Classroom culture involves creating an environment where students feel safe and free to be involved, okay? And here I can give you 1,000 reasons, right? Why you should make your students feel free and safe, okay? Um, for example, if you are teaching English in a basic level, right? In a basic level, um, do you teach for your students or do you teach for you? Hmm? That's a question, right? Do you teach for them, your students, or for you? I mean, because you already speak English, right? So, how about your students? Well, I'm asking this question because if you teach for you, then you're lost. If you teach for your students, then you're doing your job. You know, I'm saying this because if you are teaching for you, then the atmosphere is not safe, and students, they won't feel free to be involved. You know what I mean? Now, how do you increase confidence? How do you build uh, this? Uh, how do you build this? How can I say? How do you build this interaction with your student? How do you click with them? Well, that's gonna be also part of your job and your personality. You know, if you are a shy person, if you are a quiet person, then when you get to the classroom, it would be good to change yourself, you know, like you're gonna become like an actor, and you're going to act, and you're going to do all that for your students, you know, because students, they don't know you, so they have to know you, and you have to know them. How is that interaction is going to happen? Well, by talking, by asking them about their likes, by making them feel important, right? By telling them, hey, good job, hey, I like your opinion, you know, that was a really good opinion, hey, I like how you pronounce this word. So when you praise your students, you are increasing their confidence, and they won't be afraid of participating, okay? That's why you have to be careful when you correct, okay? Correcting students is also an important aspect of building a safe atmosphere in your classroom, okay? So uh, imagine that right now I ask somebody here in this call to read the text, okay? And somebody says culture. Okay, classroom culture involves creating an environment. Okay, and somebody's reading like that. Okay, and imagine that I go like, no, 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 stop, stop. How would you feel? How would you guys feel if I do that?
It will be really frustrated because I will feel kind of ashamed of my pronunciation, and it will be hard the next time to read it again because I will not feel safe in order to read it.
Exactly, exactly.
I
Even okay, go
I
ahead, go
will
ahead, go ahead,
participate.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Oh, that's it.
No, teacher. What
You said I
what
won't
said is
participate.
that the person who read that he is going to think I will not I once I once do it again.
Yeah,
Or I yes, will feel like something like
ashamed,
scary or with
scary.
fear change. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Right. So imagine that if you had a teacher like that, then I mean, what is going to happen? Well, you're killing participation, you're killing the interaction. So, I mean, it's not it's not that you cannot correct, but it's how you're going to correct. You know what I mean? There exists a technique. Yes. Yes, can you tell me what it is?
Yes, teacher. Peer correction refers to when the students can correct to the other classmate too. I mean, for example, like when we are doing an activity, my friend Osvaldo see that I'm doing something maybe that is not correct. He's going to tell me what I'm doing wrong, and then if I see something that is not good at all or something like that, I'm going to do the same too.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, we can use in the class, during a class, we can use peer correction, right? What I usually do is that I mean, if I am the one that is going to correct, I just read again. I read again, okay? And then I don't need to tell you that you mispronounce a word because you listen. I mean, you're listening, right? So when you listen again, you can correct yourself, you know? You can correct yourself. So, that word is like that. Okay. And I didn't mention it, right? I didn't say that culture was pronounced like that. I just read it and I started explaining. So you realize. So the other part is not necessary, right? To say, no, that's incorrect. No, you know, no, you don't do that. So another way is what Mr. Turcios was saying, that you can use you can use your own students, okay? So for example, if I ask Will Turcios to read this and I notice that he mispronounced something, you know, I can ask, okay, now Jeffrey, can you read this again? And Jeffrey reads again, but Jeffrey also made a mistake. Okay, now Osvaldo, and Osvaldo reads it again. And you know, in that way, we're just repeating, right? And repeating, but we're practicing and we are correcting. And you don't feel ashamed because everybody's reading it. You know what I mean? So that is also a technique for making your students feel safe and free, and they're gonna feel free of making mistakes because they notice that you don't have a bad intention, and they notice that your way of correcting it's appropriate. You know what I mean? Now, if we talk about many years ago, teachers were not like that, or teachers did not pay attention to that part, or sometimes we forget about it and we correct right away. And there are two theories, right? One that it says that correcting right away it's um, okay, and another one that it says that it's not. You know, it depends of the idea or the topic that you're teaching. In my personal opinion, I think that you can correct, you know, in the moment, but no like explicitly, right? Like I said before, I just read it again and that's it. And you realize, you know, because you're very smart. So you realize, right? And that's fine because nobody's perfect. Even teachers make mistakes. So, I mean, nothing happens. We're not walking dictionaries. We don't know everything. So we got to be humble enough to accept it and to learn, because teachers learn from students and students learn from teachers. You know, this is a collaborative work, and that's what it is. Whoever don't see it that way, then he's in trouble, right? Now let's move. Here we have some tips, and I changed this information a little bit, guys, because according to the theory and in my personal opinions, I don't like the word rules. Okay, I don't like the word rules because humans, we tend to be challenging by the word rules and we tend to violate the rules. So what I call them are agreements, and I have changed the perspective. Okay, so in the breakout rooms, one of you was mentioning agreements. I don't remember exactly. I think it was Mr. Cortez, Oscar, if I'm not wrong. So he was talking about agreements. Now here the theory says set rules together, right? So it says, well, I'm gonna ask a girl to read. Erika, would you mind helping me with the reading? Because I'm a little bit sick. Well, I think Erika doesn't have a microphone. Okay, Paola, would you mind helping me out?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you.
Set rules together. A positive classroom where children are free to be themselves does not mean there aren't any ground rules in place. Students should feel safe and respected, and a framework around that will help them do so. Encourage them to think for themselves. Ask the children what kind of role there should be. This includes setting up rules surrounding communication. Should I read the second paragraph?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. However, according to my experience, I will say that it is better to have agreements than just setting rules. The word don't has a negative effect in students. So I have learned that students need agreement rather than just rules.
Thank you very much. Excellent pronunciation. Now, in this part, guys, the theory set rules together, right? Now, I added this short part here because according to my experience, students, they feel tempted by the word don't, right? And this meme on Facebook caught my attention. Do you remember this meme about, I don't know, pero it has an expression in Spanish, que dice una cosa, ¿verdad? Arriba, y luego abajo ponen que lo hagamos, dice, o algo así, no sé. No sé si se acuerdan ustedes de ese meme. pero que es algo contradictorio, ¿no? Que arriba te dice, por ejemplo, no salga de casa, y abajo pone que vayamos a la playa, dice. I don't know if you have seen it.
Sí, sí lo noté.
Oh.
Yeah,
Bueno,
every single day, yeah.
Okay, so that is exactly what happens. Most of the time, humans, when we see rules and when we see prohibition, I mean, we tend to do it. You know, it's like challenging yourself, like showing off to your friends, etc. So instead of having the word don't, instead of having the word rules, I would change the perspective. And I want you to think about this scenario. I want you to think about a classroom with a group of students, right? So what I normally do when I'm teaching is this. I ask my students to create group of 5. I mean, depending on the number of students you have. So they create groups, small groups, and you give them a poster and markers, okay? And all of them will write, okay? Agreements, okay? You don't say rules, you say agreements. And there is one thing that they have to respect is that they don't have to use the word don't, okay? So instead of saying don't throw trash in the classroom, they write keep the classroom clean, okay? Keep the classroom clean. All right. So you assign them and you give them examples about the agreements that they're gonna propose, because those are proposals. So they all propose agreements in the classroom. Okay. And at the end, when all of them finish, they all present group by group. They present their proposals, and they all vote. Okay. They select the agreements they want in the classroom. Okay. For example, one common agreement is speak English only, okay? Or ask questions, you know, or be quiet when teacher is explaining, etc. Right? So they create the agreements. So all of them vote, and you assign one of the students, the one that has beautiful handwriting, right, to create an agenda with the ones that they are selecting. Okay. At the end, you will have around 10 to 15 agreements, and you ask one of the students to create a big poster to have it on the wall. Okay. So after you have done all this, right, and it doesn't matter that you spend one class doing this, but the benefits at the end are going to be amazing. So after you have done this, then if you ever had a misbehavior problem in the classroom, okay, imagine that one student is eating in the classroom, and that's in the agreements, no food or whatever, or eating in the classrooms is not allowed, for example, right? So and one student is eating, you just ask him to stand up and to read the poster, okay? And they realize right away. So they realize right away, uh-oh, right? And then you just look at him, and he would take the food and he will fold it and save it for later, you know? Without getting yourself angry, without telling them many words, you know, without arguing, you're teaching them culture, you know, classroom culture. And that involves not just bad habits, you know, it can be about learning tips, things like that, you know. So that's the thing. Any questions so far? Questions? Any questions so far, or we're good? Questions? You still there?
Yes, man, but I think it's clear.
All right. Okay. If you have a question, just write on the chat, or, you know, or ask, okay? All right. Now, here we have, make it clear to all students that they are in value, and that any differences between them have not bearing on how they will be treated by you or others in the classroom. Be approachable to all of your students, not just the ones that are easy to deal with. What we were saying, right? And this has to do with Jeffrey's question, right? So you can just mix them up And then, I mean, you avoid that. Now, don't refer misbehaviors to the to administration and or guidance unless you absolutely have to. You know, you wash your clothes at home. You know what I mean? Like if you have problems in your classrooms, try to solve them in the classroom. Okay. Um, don't go to the administration's office unless you have to. I mean, if it is something very serious, yes, you can go. However, if it is something simple that you can fix in the classroom, I mean, there's not necessity to go there, you know. So having a good communication with your students would help you deal with problems in the classroom, you know, because you can have all types of problems in the classroom. Girls fighting for any reason, small groups, you know, that don't get along with the others. And for all of those behaviors, problems, team building activities are the answer, okay? And then making them feel that they belong to one single group, then, I mean, it would be very, very helpful for you, you know. Um, Now, always model positive social skills such as empathy, tolerance, and patience. Um, Putting yourself in other one's shoes is one of the most difficult things that teachers can adopt. You know what I mean? Especially right now with this pandemic thing. You know, like there are many students that they don't have internet. There are many students that they don't have money for paying the university. So having some empathy, it's important for us, you know, to understand the student situation. For example, I don't know, like if you have money for paying the internet or not. I don't know your needs, your problems, you know. So I have to be empathetic. So if somebody like didn't send the homework, I can just go and text him, hey, I would like to know about your situation, what's going on, you know. So I can be helpful in that part and be patient, you know. Now, uh, you also need to develop problem solving skills, not just in students, but also for teachers, you know. This is one of the trends right now. All companies are hiring people, you know, that have problem solving skills developed, you know. So for you, having problem solving skills like knowing how to deal with problems, you know, it's essential to get a job nowadays. Companies are looking for that. They're not looking for troublemakers or more problems. They want people that give solutions or offer solutions to their problems, you know. That's why most companies are asking you for small projects, you know, that beneficiate the company. So never forget that a person is not the same as their behavior. So never label them or marginalize them. So this happens in public schools when one of the kids have a misbehavior problem. You label them, right? You said, this is the guy, right? And everybody knows him like the bad guy, you know. And most of the time what happens is that these kids, they come from a very difficult background, you know. Probably they their parents are not with him. Their parents are in jail, their parents are in the US, so they don't, sometimes they lack of attention, you know. That's why they behave in different ways, you know. So before thinking, before making a judgment about these kids, you have to think about them, you know. You have to talk to them, you know. You have to talk to them and make sure that you don't kick them away, because maybe you can be the person that save him, you know, from the gangs, from any other bad things, you know. So this is a big responsibility. I don't know if you see it like that, but you know, you will realize it when you get to the reality. Now, uh, do regular check-ins. I mean, you have to do it like every day. Um, Use whole class relaxation techniques. Sometimes, I mean, it's not about reading and listening and repeating sometimes can be a little bit relaxing. It can be a movie. It can be team building activities. You can take them out. You can meditate with them. That mindfulness. I don't know if you have ever heard about mindfulness. That's a focus of education, that you focus on meditation and feeling everything and just be quiet and breathing. Some of those techniques, according to researchers, have shown that are useful for building a positive atmosphere as well. Speak to students privately. When you have a problem or when you are going to uh, talk to one of the students because of a misbehavior problem, you talk to him privately, okay? Don't talk to him in front of the class. Don't humiliate him or her, okay? If you do that, then the situation is gonna be worse, okay? So talk to him or her privately, okay? And ask him, hey, what's up? Hey, you're a really good student. I think that you have a lot of potential, but I would like to know why you're behaving like this. They understand, and when you paid attention to them, then probably you will be surprised of the world that you will find. There is a world in the other side with a lot of pain, and then those stories create you or make you a better teacher when you listen to them. Okay, so and here we have more, but I won't go and check each of them because there are too many. Now we're gonna go to this part, which is about turn problems into teachable moments. Okay. Sorry. Uh, when you have a problem, all right. When you see a problem or you identify a problem, you can turn it into a teachable moment, right? Imagine that in the school you have a problem, right? Imagine that students are throwing trash, right? On school, like everywhere. So that problem, you can turn it into an opportunity, and you can teach them to create a project, okay? To create a project about solving the situation. Even if you're teaching English, you can do it, okay? So your job, you can create a small project. Your job is to give a solution to the problem, all right? So we're gonna work in group of 5, and you're going to think about the problems. You're going to think about on a small project about how to solve the situation, okay? And like that, you made a problem, you convert a problem into an opportunity of teaching and learning at the same time. Now, the setup or the seating arrangement is part of classroom management. Here in the picture, you can see how many different positions we have. And my favorite is the U-share, this one, like the semicircle. For me, it is better to have that one because you have time for having eyes contact, and you have the opportunity to see everybody in the classroom. So you can have a really good control, okay? You can have a really good control of the class. Now, in places like the university, for example, this is a challenge because most of the time in the university, we have more than 20 or 25 students. We normally have 60 or 50 or 45. So you can't do this. However, you can walk around the classroom, okay? If you're one of those teachers that are static in one single spot, then I recommend you to walk around the classroom so you can have a good classroom management, okay? And what is a good classroom management? It's having the control of the class. Is that if somebody is not focusing, you go and you just touch his shoulder and he knows that you are there, okay? So the seating arrangement, it's something important. Actually, it's the first thing that you have to do when you enter to a classroom, okay? Many teachers don't pay attention to this. But I have noticed that the way in which students sit, it's essential for having the control of the class. Okay? So I would recommend you to check that. And here we have peer correction, right? That is the part that we were checking out a couple minutes ago. In this part, you can just assign, right, or ask your peers, your other students to correct something, right? And without even knowing, without the other person like notice, you know? So you ask the other ones to repeat again and again and again, and the repetition drill will be effective, and the person will get the right pronunciation of a word or something, right? Or the idea. So instead of saying no, right? Instead of saying, that's not correct, okay? Instead of sending that negative message to your students. Here are other tips, like chatting, individually with your students. In the university, for example, there's no time for this. We're talking to each of them. However, you can take advantage of visiting small groups. Hey, how are you, Osvaldo? Hey, Paola, how you doing? How's your mother? My mother is fine. Probably Paola told me last class that her mother was sick, right? And I said, hey, how's your mother, Paola? My mother is fine, etc. Right? So having these short conversations will increase, your relationship, and students will feel comfortable as well. So take these moments, that most of the teachers don't see it, but they are important. A little bit important would be short. They are really important, and you can go step by step. Remembering their names and all that, and interacting. So they don't see you just like that, like authority. They also can see you like a friend, like somebody that they can trust. Give out jobs, right? Given responsibilities, like we were saying at the beginning, would help as well to have the control, especially with hyperactive kids. You assign them roles. You tell them, okay, you're gonna take the attendance today. Okay, you're gonna write this on the board. So for having the classroom control, assigning responsibilities would be also useful for your students, okay? In case that you don't know, in case that you are new, then you can assign them responsibilities, okay? For example, in a public school can be like the cleaning stuff. It can be erasing the board. It can be turning on the computers, etc. Right? So there are many tasks that you can think of. It can be helping to read from the book, etc. Right? So you assign them roles. Now, in conclusion, guys, having a good classroom culture will facilitate your job in the classroom, okay? It will help you to have a better control of the class, right? It will also help you to help. How do you like that? It will help you to help, because when you are not open-minded, when you don't listen to your students, you cannot help, So listen to them so you can help them, right? They are going to help you to help them when they tell you what happens, when they tell you what's going on, right? So think about them as humans. Think about them as kids. And then they will never forget you, and then you're going to be doing your job, okay? So is there any question before ending this call, guys? Questions or comments or something before leaving?
I got a question about the homework.
Okay. Tell me about it.
What do you refer when you say that we have to create our own examples in the mind map?
Oh, your insights, what you think of it, what you have gotten from the presentation, your ideas, okay, what you think of it, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, like for example.
Yes, like
Uh-huh,
If-
yeah. Yeah, go.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, like your ideas. For example, if you write like classroom culture, okay, what you think of it, okay? Your own perspective. That's what I meant.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Is there any other question? No, we're good. Kevin, Oswaldo, Yancy, is there
Sir, I have a doubt about expression that I read in the slide number 10.
okay?
It
What is
was have no very on. I mean, I have been looking for a lot of information, but I haven't understood, and I wait until here, and I don't know if you can explain us about that expression. It is in the number 10, slide number 10.
slide number 10?
Yeah.
Let me see. Well, I can't see the number of the slides here.
Okay. I guess it is the one that is start with the classroom culture tip, and then in the second page of that one, make it clear to all the students that they are valued and that any difference between them have no bearing on.
Let me, I'm searching. Just give me a minute.
All right. Isn't there? Yes.
This one, make it clear to all students that they are valued and that any difference between them have not bearing on how they will treat it.
Exactly, that one.
Well, I understand that they are referring to that you have to set, a clear line, that they're not going to be difference between them.
Oh.
I don't exactly, I don't know how I would translate not very on. However, I understand the whole idea, that is about crossing a line in which they understand that they won't be treated differently. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's clear. It's clear now. Thank you, sir.
However, I don't know what varying on means, like literally. But
it's kind of hard because, I will look for as well. Thank you, sir.
I'll look for, and I'll let you know in the chat, because this can be used in many contexts,
Yeah, please, sir. Thank you.
No problem. Is there any other question, guys? We have 1 minute. We're answering any question and then we go. Is there any question about the homework? No? We have 1 more week, and then after the next week, we are having our first midterm. So I don't know if you have any question until now. If not, then it has been a pleasure, and I'll see you next week, okay? Thanks for being here.
Okay, thank you, teacher. Take care. May God bless you too.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir. I'll see you next week.
See you.
Thanks, teacher. Bye.
Bye-bye.